Okay, I'll start off by showing you the USB cable is not plugged in. The Toshiba Flash Air card is the only modification to this board. Everything else, as you can see, or hopefully can see, is completely stock. Right on this side, you can see the printer under Info. System version 1.1.Q, and here I've got a slicer loaded. I don't know if I can hold this still enough to entertain you, but I've got a little rectangle up here. It's actually a square, I'm sorry. We're just going to export the G code. I've named it uploader.gco. We're going to save that. Now I'm going to come to the Toshiba Flash Air utility. You can see uploaded.gco. We're going to replace that by choosing the file name and uploaded.gco. Submit it. You can see down here in the corner it's uploaded that quick. So that file is now on this printer. I'll set the camera here, hopefully, dropping it. Actually, let me just zoom in a little bit here. And return, go to Utilities, Build, Upload, and yes. We'll take it a few minutes to warm up. Hopefully not too long. Sorry it's shaky, I'm kind of trying to hold the camera. Couldn't get the tripod sitting exactly where I wanted. Maybe I'll try that again real quick. So there's a little less glare there, sorry about that. And you'll see we're looking for a target temperature of 90 on the platform and 230 on the extruder. So while that's going, we're going to go ahead and come back here to my slicer. And again, you can see I've got the slicer with the cube right there. I'm going to delete that. Now I'm going to drop on it a round file. Probably not very round, to be honest. We're going to scale this up a little bit. Anyway, the point wasn't for it to be round, it's just to be a different shape. Just so you can see there, it's sort of round. It isn't laid in there how it's supposed to be. That doesn't change what I'm going to demonstrate for you. We're going to export this yet again. Keep the same file name, uploaded.gco in all caps. Save it. We'll come back here to Flash Air. I can refresh that real quick. And you'll see uploaded.gco is still there on the card. I have not chosen to upload the new file. I'm still waiting on the printer to warm up and build the one I started to show you. So the speeds are turned up high. The print quality is going to be absolutely horrible. This printer was never made to print this fast. Again, it's just to show you that this stuff actually does work, and you'll be able to see and hear how fast it is. We're up to 216 and 70. The extruder temperature is kind of funny. It always seems to fluctuate up and down while it's waiting on the platform to warm up. I'm not sure exactly why they do that. I do believe it's coded in the firmware though. Might have something to do with getting the filament too hot and burning it in location. But probably have about another minute and a half, 2 minutes here. Hopefully my battery will hold out. It says I've got about 15 minutes of battery left on the camera. So it's probably a good time now to skip forward. You don't want to hear me rambling, I'm sure, but I decided not to interrupt this video so that a few people out there that think all I did was change the menu by editing the hex can be shown that that's just simply not the case. There's a few background changes that you don't see on the menu. Things like the file name obviously have to be changed. This printer normally uses long file names. Sample01.gcode clearly is not a DOS 8.3 file name, but the FlashArray utility and the FlashArray card can only upload DOS 8.3 file names. So that had to be modified in the firmware in order to make the FlashArray card work. And the best I can tell you is, if you don't believe me, go ahead and get a FlashArray card and attempt to make it work. And I'm sure you're going to go bald pulling your hair out trying to do so. So I believe coming up there on the temperature, I believe that this firmware does just about everything I need it to do. I can still plug a USB cable in, I can still use the XYZ software, and obviously I can use whatever slicer program that I want to export the G-code and send the G-code up to the printer. Key thing for me is going to be getting this off of a little coffee table and having the printer at a different location. Sorry, I've got a grandfather clock chiming in the background, stroke of midnight. Imagine that, and that's about when this thing's going to start printing here in a few seconds. But the key thing, again, just being able to use whatever software we want instead of being locked into their XYZ software. The XYZ software forces the speed, it forces the temperatures based on the filament. All of their software G-code appears to be using the default settings, so it looks back to the filament, whereas with a slicer I can put in whatever I want. And now you can see we're getting ready to build. It'll drop back to 0. It's going to home all the axis first. And now we'll wait a few seconds for the temperature of the extruder to come back up, and it should start going here in just a few seconds. I'm not sure exactly why they heat it up, turn the heat off and recenter everything, and then immediately turn the heat back on, but it sure seems like that's what they're doing. Again, my target extruder temperature was 230 Celsius and platform 90. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and open the door so you can see this. See, we're starting to print a little square. I'm going to set the camera down here. Like I say, hopefully I've got enough time to do this. I'm going to quickly cancel this out. Tell it yes. This is probably not great to do on the printer, but I've canceled that job out, and I'm just going to power cycle the printer to cheat. Don't want to wait for it to cool down. Hopefully it'll save us a few minutes of you having to get this off the platform here. You can see it's pretty hot. Whew. Okay, now I come back over here. Hopefully my Wi-Fi card has rebooted and connected. Easy way to test is just to reload this here. Might take it a few seconds, and it did connect. So now, as you remember, I exported that uploaded.gco from a different file shape so that you'll be able to see something else is happening. And I'm going to go back here, we'll choose the file, uploaded, submit it. You can see down there, 50, 90, 100% done. Now we're going to immediately come back to the printer. Oh, sorry, go to Utilities, Build again. I'm sorry, I almost hit Calibrate. I'm trying to watch the screen of the camera and do this at the same time. Come down to Build, pick my Upload instead of Demo, start building, and you can probably hear it, maybe even see it a little bit, moving the deck up and down. Extruder is at 172, platform 84. Of course, we got to give it a few minutes to warm up again. Hopefully it won't take as long this time. That's why I didn't let that really cool down. Like I say, I'm not sure that's great for the printer or anything, but it's the only way to make it the time frame I needed. We're already at 10 minutes and real close to it anyway, and I've only got about 5 minutes of battery left, if that. So As you saw, the platform warmed up, it homed all the axis, and now it's heating the extruder and the platform back up again. I really don't understand why it does that twice. I'm sure that's a G-code setting because it doesn't do that when I upload from the XYZ with the USB cable. But should be very, very close. I think we're just barely going to make my battery life on the camera. We're spitting some stuff out down here. Let me get a quick zoom in so you can see it's a different shape, different file entirely. Hopefully you can see that. Obviously something round now. So, hope that clarifies whether this was just simple editing of the menu, because clearly it's not. Enjoy.